Hello, ESCBubble. Don't cry for me. I didn't make it to Basel this year, but John's Tears has. John, how are you doing? And what exactly is your role in the show this year? You're not competing for Switzerland. You're doing something else, aren't you?
I'm super happy to be here. Thank you for your invitation. I'm so sad for you that you cannot enjoy this crazy experience, but I'm sure you already have had. So obviously, they wanted me to take part in Eurovision. So I was contacted in October. They actually didn't had any information. Like, of course, they didn't know at that time if it was going to be Basel or Geneva. Or they first, like, we were discussing about presenting, and then
Yeah.
we started to speak about an interval act only about me. And now we arrived into something else that I cannot explain, but you're going to see me more than once this year.
You're going to see him more than once.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just going to ask which semi-final you're performing in, but multiple, if not the final as well, I'm presuming.
I cannot really say, but obviously, since I didn't want also to present, I'm gonna, yeah, normally sing, of course. But the only thing is like that I cannot say is really like what song or in what kind of formation. But I think the thing that is still like official is the fact that I'm gonna sing at the final,
Yeah.
and you'll see me maybe in another semi-final. We never know.
Well, we certainly know that you can sing well. I mean, you have proven it. Well, kind of one and a half times, really. So you came third in 21, but you were also one of the COVID bunch. You were ready to go to Rotterdam, and then the contest was sort of swept from under your heels, as it were. Like, how was it apparent that you were going to be Switzerland's act in the first place, and then what did it feel like when the contest was cancelled?
It was really complicated, especially because at that time we didn't have any information about like the music industry in general. They like all the artists started to all like most of the artists started to do like streaming concerts,
Mhm.
canceling their own concerts. So it was quite a chaotic situation. Of course, it was a disappointment, especially because there were a lot of great songs that year, and I was also like quite high in the book in the bookmaker.
But mostly it was because you were nearly favourite to win, I think.
So
Yeah.
so that was complicated because then I knew that people had expectation about my music, and also since it was canceled, the big question was should I come back next year, because like some of the artists couldn't represent themselves again because of the shows like the Sanremo or like those kind of
Mm. Yeah.
festivals. So of course they couldn't come back, which was really heartbreaking for me. So then we had a big discussion, and at one point they said, "Would you like to come back?" And I was like, "I didn't even come. Like it was canceled." So I don't have the feeling like when people says like, you represented Switzerland twice, and so I don't have that feeling. I just have the
In
feeling
the hearts of Eurovision fans, you represented Switzerland twice.
yeah, but I have the feeling I represented once Eurovision, but with two songs,
Like,
because we yeah.
was Tout L'Univers, was that written specifically for Eurovision, or did you just have that like ready to go anyway? Like, what was the story behind that?
So actually, the story behind Répondez-moi first, like, was
Yeah.
just my first writing song camp with a Swiss duet that they have seen me on The Voice in Switzerland, and they were like,
Mm.
"You should do a songwriting camp with us." And they didn't tell me it was about Eurovision because they knew that if they were like, "Yeah, you should do another TV show after The Voice," I would have been scared. And then they explained me it was Eurovision, and I was quite stupid because I didn't know what was Eurovision, and I was like, maybe I really need to check what Eurovision is like fully. And then I really got like passionate about Eurovision, like about the Eurovision story, about crazy anecdotes, and I love anecdotes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's such a wonderful show with a wonderful history. So I remembered watching it when I was 12, and I had a dream that I won Eurovision. And then
Oh,
I never really thought about Eurovision again. And then I applied maybe
yeah.
1 hour before the end of the closing
As all the great
applications.
students do, like the minute before the deadline.
Exactly. And then I don't know if I'm a great student, but I hope like at least, I mean, they like the song, but it's interesting because Répondez-moi finished at the fourth place, didn't finish at the first place. So, and then
Oh,
when
that's
I like,
interesting. So, how many, like, I mean, Because like the Swiss process is kind of invisible, but like everyone says it is
Yeah,
like the absolute top standard. Like how many do they put through to the final?
I think the thing is like they don't want us to know each other or to speak
Right.
to each other, so they really strict about that. So we
Yeah.
cannot really meet anyone. We had first to send the song, then they do a kind of exactly the same process as Eurovision, which is like they have like a jury of like professionals and one jury of mixed between all ages, all genders, and all connection with music, like amateur, professionals,
Okay.
people that just like to listen music,
Yeah.
like all kind of people. And
Like a
so
people's
those
jury, as it were. Yeah.
exactly. So they are two type of juries. I think we were 15 or 20, had to go back and sing live. And then I finished at the first place. It was canceled. And then I was like, okay, I'm coming back. But then people have expectations. So I really need
Hmm.
to work hard so people can really connect with my music again and not come back with something completely different because I still want to feel it's me, you know.
Hmm.
So but the only thing that I remember is that actually the first song from the first camp was the one. It was called Ground Zero. And then
Oh,
I
okay.
still wanted to make it in French, and then Tout L'Univers happened.
So Ground Zero is like Tout L'Univers, but in English. Like it's somewhere
Exactly.
on some. So did you ever release that? Or
No, never.
so it's just sitting on some server in like some like studio somewhere. And so that's really cool. Like there's this
Exactly.
like hidden English version of Tout l'Univers that we're yet to uncover. I love that. I mean, you've said you love anecdotes. Like, what was the best story that came out of actually going to Eurovision in that year, 2021?
But I think my best souvenir is the fact that so my stage name is John's Tears, and
Yeah.
my tears comes from the fact that my grandfather cried when he heard me singing for the first time,
Mm.
and I wanted to keep his tears in my stage name. And once I sang Tout l'Univers, when I like left the stage, the first thing I did was just taking my phone, calling him per video, and saying like, how did you like it? And he was just crying, and it was so cool to like to see him emotional the same way when I sang to him for the first time when I was 8 years old. So
There aren't many contexts where it's like it was so wonderful to see my granddad cry. It's like
mhm.
you're just on that screen. It's like, please cry, come on.
No, but
Yeah.
you know, when I was, since I have an Albanian culture and
Mm.
also like a mix between Albania, Kosovo, and Switzerland,
Yeah.
I have this thing that we have in our families, the like that kind of figure that is the grandfather. He never cries. He's the rock of the
Oh yeah,
family.
yeah, yeah,
And to see him cry when I was 8 years old was really so powerful because I felt like I was a superhero because I could make my
yeah,
grandfather cry, you know. So that's why I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to
yeah,
sing because I want to move people to tears, even the most rigid, like
yeah.
intimistic people that they never show anything to anyone. I was like, I won't touch those people. My grandfather was a bit dramatic, and he was like, yeah, I'm sure you're gonna be big one day, but I will not be here to see you. And actually,
Yeah.
I went as fast as I could, and he obviously sees everything that I'm doing right now. So I'm so happy.
I mean, fast forward to this year. Well, actually, fast forward to last year. To be honest, how did it? The moment Switzerland won, first time in your lifetime, I'm presuming. Like,
Yeah,
how did it feel? Where were you? What was the feeling in the room? Like, I assume there was jumping around and drinks flying everywhere. Like, what was the sensation?
definitely. Like I was really happy. I was in Iceland,
Oh wow,
following
were you rowing?
I was doing composition and writing songs. I actually wrote my next single that is going to be released this week, the 15th
Okay,
of May, which is called Set Me Free. So I basically
nice.
wrote it there. I was completely in another world, following Bjork paths, and and yeah, and so I was really happy, but at the same time, I couldn't really share with someone else because I was alone by myself there for
Yeah.
2 weeks. But I had a big smile, and I was like, we finally brought back the cup at
Yeah.
home. So that's good.
I'm sure your cheers were heard all the way to Basel and beyond. Like, yeah. Have you had the chance to meet this year's Swiss act, and have you given her any advice? And also, what do you think her chances are in the show? I mean, it's one of my personal favorite songs. I think she definitely
Wow.
borrows a lot of your style, and like I get a lot of, sort of sincerity from her as well. Like, what do you think?
So I know Zoe since I'm 18 years old. So since like
Oh wow.
we actually did like a music academy together for a
Mhm.
year. And so it was in Fribourg. So basically, she comes from almost the same area as me. Yeah, we were in contact when I was doing my year. And so when I've seen that I mean, when I've heard that she will represent Switzerland before it was official, I told her like just to let you know, if you have any question, if you need anything, I'm here. Because I remember that when I had COVID, I couldn't connect with anyone from the other
Mm.
contestants, so I was like really by myself. And especially also because before me, the last song in French, so from the French side of Switzerland, was 10 years ago, which is like Il pleut de l'or from Michael
Oh
van der
yeah,
Heide.
Michael van der Heide. Yeah,
But the thing is, like, he's Swiss German. So, I mean,
yeah.
even like before that, I didn't have anyone from my region that I could really ask
And
for
I'm just going to
help
say,
or,
just going to
yeah.
interrupt you and say that that song has a very specific niche among the UK fans. Like I've heard that at like more than one Euro Club night over here. I don't know why, but like
That's so cool.
it's a fab song. Yeah, like it's sort of
That's so
old school
cool.
disco, I guess. Like it really taps into that sort of old timey Euro fan sound. But yeah, anyway,
So we spoke about that, and then she was like, "Thank you so much." Even if I know, like, she didn't need any advice or help or anything because she's the best, so she doesn't need anything.
yeah.
But we had actually calls, and she had some concern, and I'm so happy that she never hesitated to call me, and so she knows she can count on my support
Well, of
from the
course you
first
did. Your
moment I
Eurovision
knew.
royalty. Of course she was going to call you.
And regarding to the song, I'm really happy that she's doing what she is, which is in betweenish ballad
Mm,
vibe, that is ballad but at the same time has some rhythm at some point.
mm,
And she sings in French usually but with some German shows,
mm,
because since she is more like a German speaker,
mm,
she has that German safety in a way.
mm.
And now it's like 100% French. So I'm so happy that she dared to try that and like to go till that point that she is like, no, I'm really a good French speaker and I'm gonna do
Mm.
it and I'm gonna dare that, and I love that.
A lot of people watching this will be thinking the same thing. Definitely people who remember Tout L'Univers very fondly, or have followed you. I mean, personally speaking, like the game was one of my top commuter albums, like years back when
Thank
it was
you. Oh
released.
my god.
What I do need to ask, given the chance, would you do Eurovision again?
I would love to do it as a writer or a composer. The Eurovision community really helped me through so many things that they don't even imagine. Like, I've grown so much. I had done TV before, and since I'm 8 years old, and I learned so much about how to stand in a camera, like how to look, how to like to be positioned if you want to get like this type of reaction, if you want that, like technically I've learned so many things. But Eurovision brought me so many human things also, because you meet so many different people in such a short amount of time. I couldn't say no, I will never do it again for sure.
Mhm.
But I don't know, like, if I could do it again also. Like, it's more yes than no for sure. But then if it's yes, it should be really like for a reason, which is like, okay, now I feel like I'm in a turnover of my life, of my career, of my everything, and I want to really start with something new. And then at that point, maybe, when I did Eurovision the next year, I said to the Swiss TV, I was like, I did Eurovision now, like maybe even the next week, I said, I want to present Eurovision, like
Mm.
commentate
Yeah,
Eurovision, not to present it on TV, but
yeah, yeah,
commentate for the Swiss TV only, like,
yeah.
so I can say anecdotes. I started to read a book about Eurovision, like, and like,
Yeah.
and that really says everything about all the stories.
You're
Like,
like the experienced co-commentator, like the former sports person they hand over to, and they talk about their experience. Like, Yeah,
exactly. And then I did it in Turin because it was more easier to do it in Turin. So
yeah,
in Torino, I was like, yeah, so this contestant did this before, and I was like so passionate about that.
yeah.
I mean, even if I'm not like the first one to follow every like release from Eurovision and everything, Eurovision has a really big important part in my life.
Yeah, well, once you've gone, you're never the same again. You never go back. Turin was also my first Eurovision, and like, yeah, it's such a mad bubble. Like, I saw all the videos of you guys at the opening ceremony yesterday. I mean, it looked like Pride. Like, I
Yeah.
got a coffee machine in the press center in Malmo last year. You got like a whole tram and a whole community. Like, it's
Yeah, that's
not to
crazy.
slander Malmo, but like Basel looks like it's doing a great job, and I can't wait to see the shows on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. How many of them you're going to be in is still an enigma, but thank you so much for chatting to us, John's Tears. If you're new around here, go and follow ESCBubble. We've got more stuff coming. We've got our semi-final predictions coming out over the next few days. Other artist interviews that we'll presumably be getting over the next few days. And yeah, just fun times all round, really, as we make our way through the designated week of fun that is Eurovision week. So thank you, John. I will let you get back to your day. Yeah,
Thank you
take
so
care.
much. Thank
See
you to
you.
the ESCBubble, and thank you to all like the Eurovision fans that give us the strength to go on stage and the pleasure, especially to go on stage with all that love and all that passion. It's really transfer that to us, and yeah, and then we're also really passionate and full of pleasure to go on stage. So thank you for all of that, and continue doing what you're doing.